Hi, I'm Leonard Scott Collins, and sometimes following your dream means waking up to discover that you hate your dream, but you're karmically bound to keep following it anyway, which is why I'm trying to make money doing yoga on the internet. Oh. Sun salutations. Alright. Come to the end of your mat, inhale up. We'll do two fast. One where I sort of talk through it in beats and we work to develop our postures, and then two more at speed, and then we'll get down to then we'll try to get down to the butt stuff. Inhale up to back. Okay, let's go slowly one at a time through each pose and mark different things about our posture. Just try to correct some bits and pieces. Oh, okay. Come on, Leonard. All right, come up to your back bend. So allow your hips to be part of this curve, but also think of coming up at the same time as you're coming back. The first few times you do this pose, you're going to feel some pressure, some compression between the sacrum and the lumbar. And you want to try to push up as you come back in order to relieve some of this pressure. When you fold down, try to keep those legs straight. This is a different approach to what we were taking yesterday with the bent knees. The bent knees, we're allowing our hips to roll forward a little bit more. Open up across the buttocks. That's not our primary goal here. Here, we're keeping the legs straight, working down through the hamstrings. Feel the difference in the stretch. Once you get those hamstrings pulled out a little bit more, then those hips are going to be able to roll forward on their own. You won't have to worry about the bend in the knee. Because stretch will move up to the buttocks naturally. But this will take some time, you know, it's not a 2-week project. Come up to the flat back. Again, keep the legs straight. Think about it like cat-cow. Look straight down. Keep the legs straight. And then try to think about rolling through the spine, pressing the abdomen downward so that your spine comes long up out of your hips. Then relax back down to your forward fold. Inhale and exhale to push back. Here we are in a sort of a push-up position, a plank pose. Again, straight legs here. Engage the abdominal muscles a little bit. Exhale to slowly lower yourself down. I'm still feeling that injury in the right wrist, and also I rolled my ankle kind of last week, and I'm still sore there too. We talked about this before. Press up into your downward dog again, keeping the legs straight. Apply pressure through the hands to allow the chest to drift gently towards the floor. Again, this is what happens when you start exercising, you know? You apply pressure to the body. You gotta be gentle with yourself and consistent with yourself, and you know, just do a little bit every day. And your body's just gonna deteriorate. You're gonna fall apart. You're gonna get sicker. You're gonna get injuries that won't heal. You know, it's just a slow spiral towards the grave, you know? But you wanna look good, you gotta make sacrifices. Press down through the hands into your chaturanga, up. Into cobra pose. See what you can do to let the tops of the thighs press into the floor. People always say to let the shoulders relax away from the ears. That's not exactly the right language. We want to keep the muscles of our upper arms engaged, pressing the shoulders away from the ears. If you relax through here, you are going to come up like this. So keeping the shoulders relaxed away from the ears is not quite right. You need to apply a little bit of muscle pressure to get your upper body into the right shape. Come back up into downward dogs. Oh man, I'm so sick of doing this. Not the down dogs. Down dogs are fine. I'm sick of doing the videos. I just hate this project. Straight legs. Jump forward. Again, straight legs. Relax in your forward fold. But guys, it's important to understand that if you ever give up on anything, then you've already given up on everything. There is no turning back on any commitment. No matter how badly you're being treated or how foolish a decision seems to be or how little reward you're getting out of any situation, the application of self to a project is what's important. And if you give up, you're a failure. And you'll always be a failure. It's very, very important as you go through life to remember never to let anything go. Ever.
up into the back bend. Oh, you know, this bicycle has seen better days. You know, maybe I should pawn it. Winter's coming. I'll take transit for a couple of months, and in the spring, I'll buy a new bicycle. Of course you're not going to buy a new bicycle. Where are you going to get the money for a new bicycle? You don't have any goddamn money. And if you start taking transit, you're going to be even more out of pocket. You know? You're going to develop credit card debt. Life is going to seem hopeless. This is true of every single thing you do. Every stick of furniture you own, every one of your possessions, every person you know. You got to grab on with a stranglehold as tight as you can and never let go. Because the second your fingers slip, you become a failure, and you stay a failure forever. Let's do 2 more rounds of our sun salutations, and then we'll get into our nice gentle hip openers. Which is why it's important that before you take even the tiniest step in any direction, you're 100% sure of where you're going to end up. You don't want to mince back and forth, and you don't want to commit to something that's going to be bad for you. Never dip a toe in unless you know exactly what the water's like. You didn't realize you were going to be getting free Dharma talks, huh? If you're Make Money Doing Yoga on the internet, we've got all 4 pillars. We got the whole 8-fold path. We got working out, good advice, clean water, and do it, an entrepreneurial spirit. You know, that's got to be at least 5 of the. That's got to be at least 5 of the steps on the Eightfold Path. Everywhere else, you know, you just get it, tight pants and techno music. You know. All right, I don't know how my ankle's gonna do, but let's try our warrior poses. So, from the base of your mat, take a big step forward. What you want to be able to do is have that back foot on a 45-degree angle, and you want the front knee to come forward. I'm going to put my back knee on a little bit more of an angle because it seems to be gentler through my instep where some of the pulling is. And then you want that front knee forward over the ankle. Hips twist to come forward. Start with the back straight if you can. See about coming up out of those hips. Sorry, I know I'm looking away from the camera a lot. I'm just checking down to my mirror to make sure I know where my foot is. Then arms up. Inhale here for 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, hips open out. Front foot stays forward. But now the body is long. The upper body is long. Feel the muscle strength through here. The backs of the thighs, through the pelvis. The top of the forward leg. The top of the thigh on the forward leg. Should be really feeling it. Extend the arms long and look out over the fingertips. Breathe here for 3. 1, 2, 3. Now here's where you can release the pressure in the top of that front thigh by straightening the knee. Keep both knees straight as your hips pop back. You fall forward over the left leg. Fingertips or palms toward the floor. Shoulders should make a straight line with the rest of the body up to the sky. And breathe here for 3. 1, 2, 3. Feel that stretch to the back of the left leg. If there's any opening, opportunity to feel any opening in the groin. Now come forward over the ankle. And then if you can put your knuckles down, fingertips. See my right knee wobbling. That's that fear we were talking about yesterday. The sense that I'm not going to be able to release without injuring myself. But you know, this is exercise, so you're going to injure yourself. Just move slow, be gentle. And then come back down. Come back up. This modified triangle pose. Bend the knee into warrior 2. Then press into the left foot to come up a little bit. All right. Now, step the left leg forward, or the right leg forward. Back leg straight. Now, you want to be confident that you can keep the right knee over the right ankle. Back leg straight, foot out on 45. Yes, we're thinking about the opening through the hips, through the pelvis, through the thighs, but we're also thinking about strengthening here. Hips come forward, shoulder comes, spine comes long, so the shoulders are straight over the hips. Got to bend that front knee a little bit more. And lift the arms up for a gentle back bend here. Make sure the stance stays low. Press down to come up. 1, 2, 3. All right, then open the hips out. Spread the arms long. Readjust the stance. Keep that back leg straight. Keep that front knee square over the front ankle. Again, spine comes straight, up out of the pelvis. Nice gaze long over the forward fingers. 3, 2, 1. Now, give yourself a break in the top of that forward thigh. You're going to move the energy into the backs of the legs. You're going to feel it in your hamstrings now, especially the hamstring of that foreleg. Come down. And again, we're letting those hips pop back to give our spines room to come forward. And that's 3. Drop the left arm. Come forward over the right leg with the whole body. Then again, turn the right arm up. Look at that fear in my front leg. 1, 2, 3. Come down. Straighten that leg again. Come back up to your triangle pose. And then up to wide legs. All right. Normally I'd repeat that set a second time. Feel it deeper. Saw the difference between our first 2 down dogs before the deepening and our first 2 sun salutes before the deepening and our second 2 sun salutes after that one round of deepening. So you do each of those postures one time, get the sense of the shape of it, and then when you go back to them, you're going to feel even more grounded. But my ankles are talking to me, so I'm just going to move on to the next thing. And I think the next thing I want to do is, let's do wide angle. Let's come as far out as you're comfortable coming. Straighten the legs and press down through the hips. So, a lot of people do these kind of forward fold poses sitting on the ground. Until you can get to a place where your hips, see how my back is rounding up out of my hips rather than if I bend the knees, see how it kind of does start to press down. Until you can get those hips comfortable relaxing forward at a 90-degree angle, the weight, your body weight is not going to help you in any of these forward fold poses when you're resting with your sit bones on the ground. You're going to get a lot more relaxation, a lot more deepening. You're going to be able to go further if you can find a position to do these poses where your body weight helps you. Which is why for forward folding poses, at my level of advancement, I far prefer to be standing. So I'm coming into this wide angle pose standing and then coming forward. Pay attention to keeping the back straight. Press your hands against the ground. And think about straightening and lengthening and straightening, lengthening and straightening and lengthening from here. Getting your spine to come up out of the hips. And you can roll your hips backwards, like when you're doing your cat-cows, to
to motivate a forward movement. And come down gently, 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 even a little bit further. The disadvantage of standing is that you're putting this angular pressure on your ankles. So if you have soreness in your ankles like I do today, that there's a potential for aggravating it. Also, now we're able to relax forward a little bit out of our hips, but we can't relax through the mechanism of the inner thigh, through the groin, through the buttock, because those same muscles we're trying to strengthen in the wide angle pose are also supporting our weight. So I'm going to come out of this for a second. Give it a minute to readjust because I've been talking and teaching while I've been down there, and it's been distracting. So now I'm going to go down and we're going to be silent for, let's say, 5 to 10 breaths. And you're going to see me working the pose. First of all, working to tilt my hips back. Working to tilt my hips back to come forward. Starting the process of getting to that 90 degrees that I want in order to be able to do this pose sitting down. And also, as a next step, once I'm as far forward and up as I feel comfortable getting, I'm going to see about relaxing the upper body, the neck, to fall forward. And then as a third step, maybe, if my ankles are feeling strong and there's no burning through my pelvis, if I can get some resistance to release through my pelvis, I may even step the pose just a couple of inches longer. So this is passive for our hips and for our spines and for our upper body, but it's one that's active through the thighs and hamstrings. In order to go deeper into the pose, we need to decide to go deeper into the pose and use muscles to spread our legs wider. Which is why if you're working wide angle, you might want to sit on the floor so there's less resistance to the widening stance. But today, we're going to do everything on our feet for the reasons I've already stated. So, coming forward, just place your hands in front of you. Transfer some of the weight into the hands, see what that feels like. Like in down dog, tip the hips back. Just bring the spine forward. Now relax through the upper body. See what's that like. See how much extra pull you feel in the hamstrings by adding weight. It's not the stretch deepening, it's the muscles reacting to the new weight. So in part, you're working against yourself here. Now I'm widening my stance a little bit, moving the sense of the stretch from the backs of my thighs to across my inside thighs here, and then continuing to work down. Working down by, not just by doing little push-ups like this, but motivating the movement by tilting the hips back. Gently, gently, gently. Toe heel in to get your strength back when you come out of this pose.
Now, here, just like yesterday, we're going to hang in our forward fold for a good many breaths. 60 is a lot. That was almost 10 minutes last night. Today we're gonna do 20 breaths, which will still be about 2 or 3 minutes. But this time we're going to endeavor to keep these legs straight. Which will move the stretch from the buttocks and groin down into the hamstrings. And we're still going to feel that sense of rolling long by pushing the hips back the same way we just did in our wide angle pose. So 20 breaths.
Don't just fall forward, come flat back, and then let yourself gradually roll down. That's 10. Up to flat back. Again, roll those hips forward to see if you can get to actually flat back. And then relax again for 5 more breaths. Now bend the knees, push the butt back. See the difference? Straight legs, I'm there. My hips, my spine's coming up out of my hips. Bent legs, I'm there. Spine is coming much more down. Bent legs, and then roll up through the spine. This is not a particularly yoga-y thing. This is very actively, we're stacking one vertebrae on top.
Of the other. Now come to your foot of your mat. Legs just a little wider than hip distance apart.
Rolling forward, transfer some weight into your hands. And walk forward into your downward dog. Now, staying a few breaths here to keep those knees straight. Again, we're working hips and hamstrings, so if we really think about keeping those knees straight and letting the heels gradually rest down towards the floor, you're really going to feel it in those hamstrings. So let's do 3 breaths here. And then we'll move the left leg forward. One final movement today here.
We're going to do the pigeon poses that we learned yesterday. Now here, what I'm going to do differently than yesterday is think, because now my Hips are a little bit more open. I've been doing work 2 days in a row. You're going to think not just about pressing down through the hips, but also coming up through the spine. Puffing the chest out. Proudly, proudly, proudly. This is why this is called pigeon pose. As I curl my back up and get longer, I'm noticing here a band. That band between of small muscles between the sacral and the lumbar, lower lumbar almost. I'm feeling a chance for tension to creep in there. Which means delicately, even as you relax the groin muscles and across the pelvic floor, you have to think about engaging the muscles of the abdomen in order to protect the lower back. It's quite a balancing act. I don't know if you can see, but I just got a little bit more in the top of my right thigh. My pelvis fell just another 1/8 of an inch down towards the floor. And there's that cooling sensation in the sole of the foot that I was talking about yesterday. It just feels like the skin is spreading out, smoothing out, like melting ice. All right. You may want to use your hands to lift your hips up a little bit so that you're not engaging muscles that are in their deepest extension. Then once you have a little bit more, once the pelvis is up a little bit more and you have some room to breathe, throw those back toes under. Come back up into your downward dog. And notice the difference. Right leg to left leg. Straighten those back legs, and again, on the inhale, straighten the legs. On the exhale, see about letting those heels drop to the floor. Now bring the right leg forward. Opening up gently across the pelvis. Keeping your abdomen gently engaged to protect the lower back as you lift up, up, up out of the hips. Chest forward. Proud, proud, proud in this pose. If you let your arms fall down from your shoulders, see where they are. Are you forward like this? Are you back like this? Hand in front of the knee, behind the knee, by the hip. And try moving it around if you have the flexibility. See how it changes the stretch. It seems to me if I come forward like this, then I'm feeling a forward fold in the back of my right thigh. I'm blossoming out this way. Whereas if I come up, press straight down, feeling less in the hamstring and more rolling out from the inside groin across the top of the thigh. Something like that. Oh. And there it is in the foot. Come back up to your downward dog. And I may stop the video here because we're running a bit long today. So if I do, thanks for joining us. I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, you can't quit once you've started. Otherwise, you're a failure. Anyway, have a great night. I'll talk to you in the morning.